What's up, everybody? We're going to get into Ozop, Ozsc. I've got some recent news for you. We're going to go over the charts and we're going to get into some negative news as well. And let's get into it. All right, everybody. Now I'll leave links below to everything, all the info that I gather here, so you guys can go look at it yourself if you're interested. Now, since I've last covered it here, it was about August when I covered this, beginning September. So a lot has actually happened recently. We've got pcti, which is their subsidiary, launching the commercial line of ground power units for business and civil aerospace markets. We've got Ozop awarded the contract from a leading EV powered aircraft company, and the modification of the Pearl Harbor power supply. So getting into the most recent news here, Ozop announced today, and this was a couple days back, that its wholly owned subsidiary Power Conversion Technologies, PCTI, has completed the modifications and commissioning of the power supply that will be used in a classified nuclear propulsion application of the U.S. Navy. And this is actually their Pearl Harbor project. Now they received a thumbs up from the Pearl Harbor team as the power supply completed the testing requirements. And as the testing is now done, they look forward to the power supply to go into service January 2022. So we could see a follow-up on this and see how things are running. Maybe they want to purchase more power supplies. It's very interesting to see these things happening lately. Looks like they're making good moves here. And as for the stock price, it did pop a little bit on news. It wasn't this that caused it to pop. It was actually, it was right about here, October 19. I'm guessing this is what caused a nice little pop, because we do see, I'll show you in a second on the charts, that we were kind of trending downwards for a second and then just had this nice pop here when this news came out. And that's my assumption of why we had a nice little rise here lately. Now they launched these ground power units, and they cite that the compound annual growth rate of that GPU market, not graphics processing units, but ground power units, is going to go from about 600 million in 2019 to an anticipated just about $1 billion. And they also note that the market value is divided between fixed and mobile, both of which PCTI already makes as customized products today. So they're in both of these subsections of the GPU market. And as for the third piece of news recently, PCTI has received an order from an electric commercial aircraft company for a solid state power supply and a large load bank. PCTI spent many hours working with the company to ensure all specifications of the products would fit their application, and the unit is one of three to be delivered. Over the next year. So there's a very good possibility that they will like these units and they will continue to purchase more. And you'll see here, as said by Brian Conway, the CEO, EV-powered aircraft will be a huge contributor to improving the environment and reducing climate change by the next decade, and it will happen thanks to technology from PCTI. Now, this is going to be a very long process here. Okay, so they're expecting about 2030 for EV-powered aircraft that supports commercial airline travel. Right now, this is just like a single-aisle electric aircraft, so very small aircraft designed to travel short distances. So think about this though, within about 9 years, we're expecting commercial airline travel. This is insane. And who knows how much PCTI, Ozop will contribute to the growth in EV-powered aircraft. Now here we have that they are going to be registering a bunch of stock up to $30 million. So we are going to be looking at some dilution here, up to $30 million for common stocks, warrants, and units. And I did want to show you here down in the risk factors. Now out of everything here, this is what I want to read. Our business plan calls for significant expenses in connection with developing our OES and PCTI systems, paying our current obligations. So they are in debt. They have a lot of debt they have to deal with. The company will require additional financing to execute its business plan through raising additional capital and/or revenue. Obtaining additional financing is subject to a number of factors, including investor acceptance of the technology, current financial condition, as well as general market conditions. These factors affect the timing, amount, terms, and/or conditions, and if additional financing is not arranged, the company faces the risk of going out of business. The company's management is currently engaged in actively pursuing multiple financing options in order to obtain the capital necessary to execute the company's business plan. There is no history upon which to base any assumption as to the likelihood we will prove successful, and we can provide investors with no assurance that we will achieve profitable operations. If we are unsuccessful in addressing these risks, our business will most likely fail. Now, this seems very concerning. This seems something that makes you just not even want to touch this. You know, makes you want to just drop it like a bad habit potentially. But it's a penny stock. These are inherently risky. You will see this on most every penny stock, that they are in debt and they are a penny stock for a reason. But if you believe in the technology, they basically just have to execute, pay for their debt. Now, I don't see them going out of business. They will, I'm sure, successfully dilute, get that 30 million over time. And keep in mind though that this date is open, but up here, subject to completion, dated October 2021, left the date blank. So keep in mind, this is coming very soon. How I'm going to play this is once they do start the dilution and introduce these new stocks, warrants, units, whatever they're going to do, I'm going to be looking at this very closely and waiting for a bounce up. After it drops a certain point, I will be looking to buy in, because this will help the company. This is a short-term negative catalyst, but it is going to be, I think, a long-term positive catalyst, because it gives them more money, gives them access to the capital they need to continue to produce their products, to continue to research and develop and stay ahead of the pack. Now, getting into the chart here, we had a recent drop. That first positive news catalyst caused a nice pop. It continued to pop throughout the next couple days as we got more and more positive news, and then we just sold off, probably because of that potential dilution here. But I see it where it's at. It is kind of looking like it might bounce off this base, although I am expecting it to drop further as there's more news of dilution, as there's news that they complete this or what have you. Now, as for a short-term resistance, I definitely see the 48, the 0.048 as a resistance here. We did try to pop over it and it just came down, and it was previously a support. I feel like this is going to become most likely a resistance from a technical standpoint. But as for a base, this could temporarily be a base. We did see it hit down where it's at now and bounce, although I would specifically wait and see what this dilution is going to do. It can cause a little bit more of a drop. We could potentially come down here again before moving further. We just need to see kind of the details, what they end up getting as their price per share on the dilution. So it's kind of just, we got to play the waiting game at this point. I would personally wait on this. But that's just me. You could always dollar cost average if you believe in the company. But I will leave links for everything below, guys. If you want to do your own research, I definitely recommend you do. There's definitely a lot more to read in the SEC filings, and just more news articles to go over to familiarize yourself with the company, so you just kind of understand more what you're investing in. It can give you a little more conviction during any downturns. But that's basically all I got for you. Thanks again, guys, as always, for watching. Hope you got something useful out of this, and I will see you next time.